program itself, having this forum, which is not a conference and it's not a strategic session. It is a forum. Everybody gets to voice their opinion for 2 days. I'm amazed at that. We don't have 2-day forums where I'm from. We have roundtable discussions. Everybody is closely timed, and when that time is up, you're out of there. That's it. And you get to challenge something maybe once, but it's just like, move on. Next slide, please. Unfortunately, with our product, we also have some liabilities, but that's always the way it is. No product is perfect, not even Microsoft, so it's okay. Transportation and logistics is a bit of a nightmare. If you were to be isolationists, true isolationists, you would be on island all the time. And worrying about health care off island wouldn't be a problem because there wouldn't be a plane to get you there, even if everything were available to you off island. So transportation is critical. Transportation and logistics, not only of people but of product. I noticed that your house building cost, affordable housing being very important to economic development, I noticed your home building costs were well over $100 a foot. In fact, I figured it out only in my mind. I think it came to about $130 a foot. On the mainland, that is not the case anymore. Right now, everybody's dying because they've got such a huge surplus of housing stock. You can build a house for well under $100 a foot, and a nice house. And I thought, why is that not the case on Guam? Why isn't this happening? And then I figured it out. My God, everything has to be imported. It's the logistics problem. Logistics, by the way, refers to the movement of product, and it's usually done now through barcoding. If you've ever been at a shipyard or ever been at a big warehouse, it's amazing. It's just when you go to the grocery store and you take your little thing and put it through on huge scale, and there are tons of big pallets of stock of things that have their barcode, and they move around the world with that barcode, and everybody can find just where they are, when and where. By the way, it's called supply technology, and supply chain management is a very good field to get into. That's just a tip for you. That's anywhere, because it is a very growing industry. Fossil fuel dependency I wasn't aware of until I was here. It's not good, and the gentleman who mentioned it and suggested the bioenergy and wind, solar, it's a good thing to get a handle on real quickly. The technology's still new, there's lots available, and all of them are hustling to get places to do it. Unbeknownst to some people, it is not in Arizona, where we have all that sun, that we have the most solar capabilities. In fact, the largest plants are in Germany and Spain. The reason being that Arizona doesn't incentivize. We have just now finally got to the point where we will incentivize developers of solar products and programs. That just happened a couple months ago, and now it's the big rush. Every community is trying to get the solar plant in Arizona. It also is difficult because solar, believe it or not, you have to have a particular type. I'm not a scientist, but you have to have a particular type of solar technology in order to operate in a climate where there's extreme heat and a lot of sun. It's a different type of technology than that which is used in normal situations with normal amounts of sun and not 110-degree heat and 362 days of sunshine. It's a little bit different there. An undiversified economy and educational levels go together. I didn't want to use the term bilateral economy, but it is pretty evident that without the military and without tourism, there wouldn't be a lot here. The military presence will give you the opportunity for so many wonderful jobs, but at the moment, It and tourism are the only things you really have. You have not capitalized yet on your military presence as you're bringing in engineers and bringing in companies that produce product and that work with the military. Your economy will grow astronomically, and the jobs will grow. However, you need that educational attainment in order for those jobs to be filled by the Chamorros and the people who live here in Guam. So the big thing is not the university doesn't have the programs. The big thing is we haven't challenged our youth to go for it. My husband, my partner in life, is an engineer, and he said, you know, problem is people don't want to work to be engineers anymore. There are so many other things they can do and make money, and it's hard to get through school and become an engineer. That's true, but the rewards are wonderful, and the family rewards are significant, because it's so nice to have somebody in the family who is truly knowledgeable about everything. It's great. It's just great. Education is probably the best investment any community can make. And this island community, putting the kids into school, encouraging them to stay there, right now it doesn't seem to be happening and really needs to. And I understand how it happens. I have a very dear friend who, young guy, good looking, charming, the girls loved him, the men admired him. He worked at the Hyatt Regency in Scottsdale parking cars. Now that doesn't sound like a huge thing, but they almost buy their jobs to park cars in Scottsdale. The tips are so good. Sean made $200 a night parking cars. Now he was going to university, and it was tough to keep him there. We had to push him because he said, yeah, I'm making so much money parking cars, and it's fun, and I get all my, what are they called, Hyatt dollars. I can stay all over the world, and he did have a blast, but that's what his life was all about, parking cars and having fun. And then he would work at his schoolwork, and that wasn't fun. Thank God we got him to stay, because as we told him, you can't park cars all your life. You're running, you're fast, you're good. That's why your tips are so good. But you won't be able to do that forever. And if you want to support a family, you've got to think about that. It's very tempting for young people to want to take those tourism, those hospitality and retail jobs and not invest in their education. But it's critical that we as stewards of Guam's future change that. Keep them on track. Keep their eye on the finish line. So what do we want to be? Here's our next slide. We want to be the Pacific Tiger. What we need is improved educational levels, which we've just talked about. We need comprehensive on-island health care. By the way, I have a daughter who's a pediatric cardiologist. I understand you need one, but I don't think I'd get her out of Houston. It is amazing what can be done in healthcare today. Absolutely amazing. My daughter deals with, quote, baby hearts. And she goes like this, Mom, baby hearts, baby, teeny. That's it. So when I call her and I have a problem, she says, Mom, baby hearts, ask Scott, he'll know. So that's part of how very focused and how sub-departmentalized medicine is. It isn't that she doesn't know medicine as a whole, it's just she knows that she doesn't know enough to advise on anything other than baby hearts. That's her deal. Now those baby hearts grew up to be 18 years old and you're still working with them. And sometimes they aren't diagnosed as babies, and that's probably happening here. And all of a sudden at the age of 18, they'll have a heart attack in the middle of a basketball game and everybody will wonder what happened. That's because there isn't a pediatric cardiologist here. You want to get all of these people. And the way you get them is by becoming the Pacific Tiger, making yourself into a place they want to be. Houston started out as a blue-collar community. Texas doesn't, a lot of people in Texas still